Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And our guest this morning is President's Counsel, legal expert, Mr. Hemantha Warnakulasuriya, who's also a rather ardent cricket fan. So perhaps we can get a comment from him on that too. Very good morning to you, Mr. Warnakulasuriya.
Good morning, Faraz. Good morning.
Lovely to have you here.
Happy to be back here.
Now then, I want to ask you this, because we've been asking a selection of people the same question, and that is, why would the Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, why should he be, or why should he not be, summoned to give evidence, to be subject to cross-examination at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry?
For us, I believe the Prime Minister played a very major role in setting up this government.
Yes.
And when the cabinet was formed, he did not take over the Minister of Finance.
Okay.
The Minister of Finance has given his very good friend, good buddy, very honest man, Ravi Karunanayaka.
Yeah.
And then he himself took other portfolios. But have you noticed, I can't remember a single Prime Minister or any other minister taking the functions of the central bank.
Away from the Minister of Finance.
Away from the Minister of Finance. Now, it is very true and very correct that the central bank under Mahinda Rajapaksa has so many activities which cannot be explained. People question the manner in which these things were happening. And Arjuna Aloysius is known to be a very good friend of Mahinda Rajapaksa's family. And he was also a primary dealer. And the Prime Minister...
Sorry, Mr. Warnakulasuriya, but I really, my question is why, why the Prime Minister would or would not make a compelling
Then suddenly, the Prime Minister took himself, maybe with very good intentions, to prevent this kind of scam that was going on in a very minor scale. Now,
shall we sort of say an alleged scam?
Alleged scam.
Because 2.5 years later, there's no evidence.
Alleged scam. Then what happened for us, after having taken over, then the Prime Minister appoints Mr. Arjuna Mahendran, who is not a Sri Lankan citizen, who has been doing some work in Singapore, requests him to come to Sri Lanka, virtually imports him and appoint him in a very, very important position of the governor of the central bank.
So
now all this one may feel like how we got Mr. Paskaralingam, against whom serious allegations there during the Premadasa's time. He was brought in, and Prime Minister also brought in Arjuna Mahendran. Now, don't you think that I have a question?
Yeah.
Why did he take over the central bank from the Minister of Finance? Because Minister of Finance was his good buddy. Then, Deputy Leader of the UNP. Then why did he get Arjuna Mahendran from Singapore and appointed him? Aren't there any qualified people like Mr. Kumaraswamy in Sri Lanka? Why did that happen? So these are matters that I believe, in the name of good governance, in order to erase any allegations against the Honorable Prime Minister, he must come and explain. Now, then, Prime Minister, you must remember, I don't think you have the clip, went to Parliament, right? And that in Parliament he made a statement insisting that the method of issuance systems of bond to be changed only to an auction-only method.
Yeah.
He said that in Parliament.
Yeah.
Now we thought, say, Prime Minister takes over Central Bank, there are allegations, rumors about corruption.
Yeah.
Then he brings Arjuna Mahendran, whom he claims was almost a magician, an economic magician who have been world-renowned person, plants him as the governor, he doesn't even take oaths. Then he goes to Parliament and says, blames the previous system, blames the previous government, says it should be an auction only method. Then, now the question is, whether he can do that.
What do you mean? Whether he can do that
No, because
legally?
whether he has statutory powers to change anything which happens in the central bank. Because that is why, in order to ensure that these things do not happen, the legislature, its wisdom, has had the Monetary Law Act. The Monetary Law Act, and which constitutes the Monetary Board. Right. And in terms of the Monetary Law Act, the subject minister does not have any statutory power to issue directions to the Monetary Board. He had insisted, and Arjuna Mahendran has complied. Now, why should the Prime Minister do something very, very illegal? Why should he give directions to Mahendran when he had no power to do so? He must do so, if necessary, through the Monetary Board.
Yes, but there's nothing to preclude the Prime Minister saying that.
No, the Prime Minister not only said that, he did that.
Okay.
Right, so that is the reason. Whether he said that, whether he did that, whether he gave direction direct to Bharati Mahendran.
Those are the questions.
Those are the questions that we want to ask him. Not we, the public wants to know.
Why are the AG's department at the Commission of
I know what the AG's department will do, but I think having followed this procedure very carefully, these are the questions that people want to ask him. Then there was also we must also compliment the commissioners, Chitra Sri and Mr. Prashant Javadana, for the extremely excellent job they have done as commissioners.
So you keep people only mention these two names.
Wait, I'm telling you, third commissioner, I forgot. Always forget. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. K. Velupillai.
I'm a
former Deputy Auditor General.
I mean, all these people, all these three persons as commissioners, we are beholden to them. We are in deep debt to them, because you would see that last few days called some witnesses that goes beyond their mandate. And then the witnesses said that even during the previous government, this method took place. Right? And they were, then the people are, so therefore, the reason was that it was not within their mandate, but these questions were asked to show that the previous method was wrong, was erroneous, and was faulty, and was guilty of various kinds of abuses.
So one of the previous systems.
So then, therefore, they wanted that clarification. So don't you think that if you have considered, if you think that a new method should be developed, you can share with the government in a transparent method at which a state can borrow with the least amount of interest. Here the problem here is for us, is a huge amount of interest that the central bank paid, because we here is a minister who directs the bank officials, Bank of Ceylon and other banks, to go before the commission, go before the tender board, and bid at a very low rate, and says, if you bid at a very low rate, I'm insisting on that, because we want to make the inflation and the interest rate
to come down.
No, single digit. After having said that, I mean, they go and follow that, and they feel that they have been completely cheated by the Minister of Finance, because the interest cutoff point was far above their quotation.
That's right.
Charge. So therefore, the whole scheme. Now, these are matters that must be explained.
And can we stop there? Because when they played a recording of a telephone conversation that Arjun Aloysius had with his CEO, Mr. Aloysius was able to tell with almost uncanny precision the fact that it later turns out to be a fact, that the state institutions will be bidding low. There is also a SMS the previous day from his executive assistant asking him to get to ask the PM and RK to get the minutes of the meeting. Because the auction was the next day. So these are pretty serious stuff.
That's something that I never thought about. No, thank you for us. Now these are matters. I believe.
It's linked. It's all linked.
So these are matters I believe. The Prime Minister must come and explain. There is no point in saying, I am going to go before the Commission, I am doing this, I am doing this, and then going abroad and staying in Germany for 3 or 4 days and then going to some other country. When the terms
but he sent apparently he received a questionnaire, and he has responded in the form of an affidavit.
I do not know, but then he should have come before. I mean, then all this happened.
But there's no. But then you have Mr. Dapoli de Oliveira, who's quoted in the press, in the printed media, as saying that he considers Mr. Wickremesinghe to be a material witness, and he has got more questions.
Definitely, the questionnaire that was sent to him and the affidavit that was sent by him may not sufficiently expose the link, if there was any, between the Prime Minister and the bond scam. So therefore, it is necessary, the public must know exactly whether all these allegations made by the people, by the opposition, whether they are true or not, and then it's Mr. Wickremesinghe to come and give evidence and show the world that he is absolutely innocent. But
there are some very compelling matters. Apart from what you just pointed out, it's also, we must remember that, and we have Mr. Gunasekara, former chairman of COPE, who also confirmed this to us, that Arjuna Mahendran, in his answers to COPE, said that he was only following the instructions of the Prime Minister.
Exactly what I said. Can the Prime Minister or the President or any other minister direct the governor to let the governor what kind of method that they must adopt? This cannot be done because
it is
they have no power.
The law. Yes,
it is against the violation of the Monetary Act.
Exactly.
Monetary law, then why should you have monetary law? Exactly. Anybody above the law? No, nobody above this country above the law. Monetary Act specifically says how this should be done. Monetary Act
there is also another point. In that same speech, which is, by the way, made on the 17th of March 2015, the Prime Minister in Parliament, he said a number of things, but he also said that there was corruption in the past under the former regime.
Precisely.
And he said this is what the primary dealers are saying. When the Commission of Inquiry asked, at the Commission of Inquiry, when Mr. Mahendran was asked who these primary dealers were, he said, I don't know. You can ask the Prime Minister.
Right, precisely.
So that's another point why he ought to come and provide information.
Then also, may I now, in response to that, my position is the Prime Minister himself told Parliament the previous scheme is flawed. It can lead to corruption. And he insisted a new method should be developed. Now, if you are developing a new method, without directing them to have an auction-only method, they should have told the government that he would instruct the Monetary Board to instruct the governor to discuss a new method of issuance of bonds.
The point is this: you can't be instructing the Monetary Board. You can ask them to consider it, and they act.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but we need to be rather precise.
I used the wrong word. Then also, the other point is, immediately after this scam was exposed by you all and by others, he appointed a Pitipane Commission. Now, Pitipane Commission consists of 3 UNP lawyers. But I raised my head to him. In spite of the fact that they were UMP lawyers, they, with the limited resources available, limited power available, they made some excellent recommendations. What did the Prime Minister do to enforce those recommendations? What did he do to ensure those recommendations are carried out? He did not do anything as far as we know.
And Mr. Warnakulasuriya, in today's island, Zaki Jabbar is writing about what the Prime Minister is saying. He says, the Prime Minister says that unreasonable media attacks sadden the Prime Minister. Are these unreasonable when the media is highlighting these matters?
I'm not a media man, though I'm.
No, but I'm asking you a question.
I don't think so. Because
my question is it wrong for the media to highlight these things?
Thanks to the good governance, thanks to the freedom that this government created, media is responsible in order to expose any kind of corruption which they think is corrupt activity. And it's duty of the politicians to come and explain. So there is no reason for anyone to fear the media.
Yes. Well, you know, it is absolutely unreasonable for the Prime Minister to claim that the media, unreasonable media attacks on him saddens him. These are not personal. These are the media doing their job. They are educating the public on what is going on. And to be fair, Mr. Warnakulasuriya, if it wasn't for the media, today I dare say that Arjuna Mahendran would still be the governor of the central bank. And it is in response to this huge public this swell of public opinion that the President decided not to give Mr. Mahendran another contract. And Mr. Karunanikes is another case in point. Had it not been for that, he would still be there.
When this happened, when you all exposed, why did the Prime Minister rush to Parliament to defend the governor? Why did he go and defend the governor? That's another question that must be asked from him. Then the other question is, and he virtually absolved the then governor, right? Then also
he said there was no evidence of wrong.
That's right. Then also we must ask about the evidence of Mr. Samuel, right?
Oh yes.
When Samuel said, right?
Just to remind everyone, Mr. Steve Samuel is the executive assistant to Arjun Aloysius. Carry on.
Unless Mr. Samuel was suffering from temporary mental dementia and he sent a reminder to Arjun Aloysius, either he got information from RK or from the PM and he does not know who these people were. I mean, only conclusion that a reasonable, prudent man could come to is that this person is an inveterate liar. Now, there are also, I believe, Mr. Dappula Rivera, if he fearless asks questions the manner in which he asked from the others, the Prime Minister must explain who is this RK.
Perhaps
not Rupa Karunatilaka, RK. Then Honorable PM, with Honorable PM, I don't know. But the whole world knows what those. So then, why should you prevent?
The attitude of Steve Samuel was completely flippant. Not only has this whole exercise, this entire exercise, been described by the Attorney General's Department as the largest financial scam ever to afflict the people of Sri Lanka since independence.
I would say
the way they've been acting
the largest
is very
financial scam that affects not only people of Sri Lanka, people of Southeast Asia. I don't know whether there was a bigger scam in the northern India, yes, but part of Southeast Asia is a bigger scam.
Yes, maybe pro rata that this has been in terms of the size of the economy and so on. You know, now when I want to refresh people's memories here. Yeah. It's a bit like, you know, doing one of those angio things and cleaning your vessels. Now then, do you remember when the president visited the central bank,
yeah,
when he had made it patently clear that he was not going to extend Mr. Mahendra or give him a new contract,
yeah,
because he never had a contract, he was just filling in for Mr. Cabral.
Yeah.
All right. Now then, when he went to the central bank, when His Excellency, the President of our country, for heaven's sake, the man with the mandate, when he went to the central bank, guess what happened? I want you to remember that. What happened was that Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe scooted off behind him and arrived at the central bank, and there was no such arrangement in place. Yeah. He went there because there was reason to believe that the president was going to make an appointment of somebody else. Yeah. Now, why did he do that? Yeah, the president doesn't need him to hold his hand.
Yeah. No, that of course I did not know, but if you say so, I accept it.
Oh, it is. It's been well covered by the media.
So that's another question that must be asked from him, you know. The public course must be entitled to...
Of course he can then now, with cold neutrality, he can say, well, I'm the minister in charge of the subject of the central bank. So he had a right to be there.
This doesn't end there.
It doesn't end there.
Mr. Faraz, do you know the manner in which the supporters of the bond scam is striving to belittle the Aegis Department, the commissioners, and all those people who are doing an excellent independent job? They, for the first time in the history, they went and filed a fundamental rights application. Here is the fundamental rights application. It's, the number is even not there. But I just want to show this to, right. The first respondent here is Dappula de Oliveira. Second respondent is Hemantha Warnakulasuriya, and the entire, yeah.
Well, let me show that here. Look, this is the fundamental right. This is the fundamental rights application has been filed against and naming Dappula de Oliveira and also Hemantha Warnakulasuriya as respondents, and they're complaining that their fundamental rights have been violated.
Yeah. Not only. Yeah.
And what is the? Tell me.
No, I will say not only Dappula de Oliveira,
yeah,
not only Hemantha Warnakulasuriya.
Yeah.
Even the commissioners.
Yeah.
The two Supreme Court judges.
Yeah.
To my personal view is that when others like Mahinda Rajapaksa, yeah, try to bury the rule of law in this country, judges always stood up. Some judges stood up, and these two judges have stood up, and then now we suddenly feel, the people feel that the court, Supreme Court, even the magistrates are so independent. District judges are independent. No one has complained that they get a call from the Commissioner or Chief Justice to give an order this way. So therefore, the people have now freedom to air their grievances before from the junior most magistrate up to Mr. Depp. We can be proud of the judiciary, and they have been made witnesses. They have been made witnesses. Justice, I'll show you this. Justice K.T. Chitrasiri and Justice Prasanna.
Are also named in here?
Yeah, they are respondents.
Indeed.
Yes.
And Mr. Kandasamy Velupilli.
Yeah, Kandasamy also. I mean, this is scandalous. I mean, they have right to go to the Supreme Court. I have no problem. But then, what do they say? What do they say? If you listen to this petition, this shows the kind of machinery and mechanism these people adopt to stifle the most independent commission appointed after we regain independence to examine a fraud committed by their own government. Only once before this has happened, and we must say, though people have forgotten, the SWRD Bandaranaike, who appointed a commission look into the bribery, allegation of bribery against his own ministers
Indeed.
and the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Now, here, I would like to read from the petition.
Yeah.
The petitioner is advised and states that the treatment is suffered at the hands of the first respondent, the second respondent, third respondent, that is Mr. Dapulivera and Guruthiraka and Mr. Jasantakoda, acting alone and or in concert with one another, more or other respondents, could be with the more specifically the threats, intimidation, duress, harassment, humiliating treatment and unknown privacy which the petition is subject to amount of cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment for...
So, I have a question. So, it is not cruel, it is not inhuman and it is not degrading for the people's monies to be robbed. Is that right?
Precisely. The question is, here is for the first time, we have a team of CID officers. Now, they also must be praised. The manner in which they did this investigation. The commissioners must be praised. The agent department must be praised. And when they do an independent job, they rush to the Supreme Court, find a 32-page fundamental, a number of documents attached, and call that there was torture in the hands of the three gentlemen that I spoke to.
So, is it not...
It really saddens that, you can use the same freedom, the same rule of law that has been enshrined by this government and been upheld by the judiciary.
Mr. Warnakulasuriya, is it
subvert the judicial process?
So, does the Prime Minister and his team and all these other people who are making these applications, do they not have feelings for the people, for the EPF,
I don't think so.
for the EPF, all those monies that have been robbed?
No, I don't
that
think
has
so.
Been robbed.
If they have a feeling, they would not rob.
I want to tell you this. Although the Prime Minister asked the Governor Mahendran to change the system and go back to to introduce some new system, the Auditor General said that that was not the least cost method. And now, guess what? The present governor, Dr. Kumaraswamy, has gone back to the previous system. That is the proof. That is the proof. Because the Auditor General said that there was no better system than when they took the average rate. If they took the average rate and if they had adopted that method, there was no way that perpetual treasuries would have got their 5 billion in that first bond at just under 12.5%. There was no way that would have happened. That's the bottom line. And that's the proof of the pudding.
And the President proudly proclaims that he appointed the President Governor and is very proud of him. Now,
quite rightly too.
Quite rightly. Now I'm telling you another important information which has not been disclosed in the media. Have they stopped by filing this application? No. Like the mafia in Sicily, like the mafia in other countries, now they have started to take revenge, not only from the people who are investigating, from their families also. I would say this, Mr. Marini de Oliveira, I believe that's her name, she is the wife of Mr. Dappul Oliveira. She is the Commissioner General.
Threat against her? What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say the Commissioner General of Child Care. Now some section of the government is trying to penalize her for no wrong what she had done because of Dappul Oliveira's involvement. It's a shame. In fact, she was to go to another country. Right? And with the minister and this very efficient Director General, but some people in the government has cut her allowances, prevented her from going and done various things. I believe the President must make a note of this.
I want to end the program with this SMS that we've just received from a member of the public. Please show the clip of the Prime Minister arriving at the central bank and sitting by His Excellency with a paper in hand. We all remember it. This Prime Minister, we want him out. We are UNPs so sad we have been so badly let down. Thank you to Shanti for that comment. Now this is the public response to what has been described as the greatest financial fraud ever to afflict the people of Sri Lanka.
Southeast Asia, I say.
And you say Southeast Asia. Hemantha Warnakulasuriya, thank you very much for being on Newsline. I was going to ask you about you and cricket and buses and trucks.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, all good things...
You was asked the question.
But I can't because the MCR will cut me off.
I would like to talk about cricket.
We will. We'll give you
and
another...
about buses.
We'll give you another opportunity, right. Mr. Warnakulasuriya. We thank you for your outspokenness, your candidness, and for your courage to be different, just like us. Right. Thank you very much, and that's the way it was on Newsline on Tuesday, the 31st of October, 2017. Take care, and God bless.
News First, Newsline with